One Piece chapter 942. Gonna be doing like a review slash discussion of this chapter, but I brought some boys with me. Well, first of all, we got Sundown Rider. He's gonna be here talking about this chapter. Let's go and do it. So, Sundown, we were talking before this stream started. You like this chapter better than the ones before this, or is this one of the better chapters in this arc so far?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure how it stacks up against the rest of the arc so far. But definitely in terms of like just following the backstory kind of this Yasu guy. Was that his name? Yasu?
He has like 3 frigging names. Actually 4. Yasui, Tono Yasu, and the Witching Hour boy.
Yeah, so his name is Shimotsuki Yasui. That's the guy's name.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed seeing kind of like his backstory, considering it involves a really, really young Oden.
We were actually seeing at the beginning of this chapter, we're seeing a flashback of him. It's pretty cool.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, I mean, just the way the chapter started with seeing like how influential this Yasui guy must have been, because it was said by people who were anticipating the Shogun's death at that time, which I assume is Oden's father. They were saying that Yasui would have been the next Shogun, seeing as Oden had been kind of disowned. So seeing how influential this guy was, I feel like the only issue I have with this chapter and kind of this character in general is that Oda has introduced him really late.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, this guy doesn't have much emotional weight on me. Like, what happens with him in this chapter? Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's the plot of the story and whatnot, but like, I don't know, I just didn't really care that this dude died. Like, if it was like Kanjuro, if he died, then I would have been like, oh, Kanjuro's dead. But the fact that it's Yasu, it's like, I understand. I mean, it's going to give more motivation for the Alliance, especially the remaining 9 Red Scabbards. They're, this is going to light a fire under them to go after, Orochi and Kaido and the whole big oncoming war that's happening. But other than that, I don't know, just from a reader's perspective, it didn't impact me that much. So, I mean, I think it goes more to what you're saying, is he was introduced a little too late.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, I think this chapter we got, he makes claims of himself being the Midnight Boy or the Witching Hour Boy, and then he instantly kind of refutes those claims. So I'm not sure. Was he covering for himself?
Dude, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you and Grim that question. I was like, so is he like lying here, or is he just saying that so that he just throws off the government from like assuming that it actually exists? Because he also goes on to deny the existence of the Alliance with the paper with the symbol on it. He goes on to deny all of that too. So is this like, is it all just a lie, or is he just saying this to throw people off? I think he's trying to throw them off so they don't further investigate things after he dies.
See, I think he might be doing a few things here. So definitely with the symbol of the kind of Kozuki family with the 2 cranes and the snake, he's definitely lying about that. And the thing is, he's taking the dishonor in front of literally everyone who he used to be like the daimyo of. He's basically telling them that, no, this is my bullshit. I lied. I was pranking. It was a prank, bro. It was a prank.
Yeah, social experiment.
He's kind of taking that dishonor, which I think is like, that's a really, really. It would have been more impactful if we actually knew who Yasu was way before this.
Yeah.
But so like. And you can't have something like that where someone like, it's like seeing in Game of Thrones a Stark dishonor themselves. It only has impact if you know who the guy is, and we've seen all of them since the beginning of Game of Thrones. So it's one of those things where he should have been introduced earlier, I think. So I think he's definitely lying. We know he's lying about that being a prank and stuff like that. But the Witching Hour Boy, I actually don't think he's lying about that. I don't think he is the Witching Hour Boy. I'm trying to find the page where they address.
But while you're looking for that, I'm going to talk about some little interesting facts about this chapter that I wasn't even aware of until afterwards. Originally, when we started this, we were talking about the Shimotsuki or Shimotsuki Yasui, this guy's name. Interesting things here. We're about to go real deep. So, Shimotsuki. This is actually the very same name of Zoro's teacher. Like,
What?
yes, Zoro's teacher shares the name Shimotsuki. In one of, I think, the only instances we ever see Zoro's teacher, that is the name of, well, the first, or, you know, the family name of his teacher. But also, on Zoro's teacher, he has, like, this insignia of two swords crossing. And it's the very same symbol that we see on the guys that are part of Yasui's crew in the beginning of this chapter. They're identical symbols. So this means that Zoro's teacher has something to do with Yasui.
Oh.
So Yasui is either like the brother or the cousin or somehow is related to Zoro's teacher. So this is all connected.
Yeah, okay, I can see this. Okay, so I'm gonna say something along the lines of Yasui would be about the same age generally as Zoro's teacher.
Yeah,
Possibly
just
a little
about.
bit. So
It kind of lines up.
So you'd say maybe like an older brother?
Something like that. I mean, they've got to be related somehow, but I just don't know how it works right now. I'm sure it will be expanded upon later, but I just wanted to put that out there that this is a thing now. So, pretty cool. We always kind of knew that Zoro, we knew that Zoro is tied to Wano somehow, like his backstory.
Yeah.
And this is giving us, this is showing us further into that, like how deep it actually goes. And how friggin' long that Oda has been building this up. I mean, I know Oda does that. He plays the long game, but damn, man, there's just keeps going deeper. So did you find that thing that you were looking for?
Yeah, but just kind of build on your point. Yasui, he's the daimyo of Hakumaiya, and right at the beginning of the chapter, we're told that that's the place where there's the only legal harbor in all of Wano there. So if there was any place where, for instance, his younger brother would have ditched Wano for another country or another place along the Grand Line or outside of the Grand Line, that would have been, Hakumai would have been the place for him to leave.
That is true. I mean, they actually specifically say that this is like, it's forbidden to leave everywhere else, but pretty much here.
Yeah, pretty much.
If someone were to leave, it would be one of Yasui's boys, and if not his boys, then somebody who's related to him, because they share that name, Shimotsuki. I don't know how much they're going to go into this. I mean, they do say his name out loud in this chapter, right at the end. They're like, his real name was Shimotsu Yatsui.
Yeah, they say it at the end. They say it right at the beginning as well. It's like page 5 or something.
But I'm saying, like, for the public, he's got to be aware of it. He's got to be aware that they share the same friggin' last name. Although he doesn't point it out. But man, there's something's got to go. They got to talk about this soon, because I doubt Zoro's gonna be like, oh, I never heard that name before. I mean, he definitely knows. So let's talk about the end of this chapter, because this is like a whole discussion in itself. I want to hear what you have to say about it. So, yeah, we've been talking about Tonoyasu dies in this chapter. He gets lit up, just like Whitebeard got lit up by Blackbeard's crew, except this seems worse, because they're getting shot by, like, rifles, and he's like, crucified. Pretty gruesome stuff here. So this dude's dead. But then it's revealed that everyone who is coming from Ebisu Town, that all the people that are oddly smiling and they can't like show other emotions besides that, it's connected to the smile fruits somehow. So now this is going even deeper. Everything is even more connected than it already was. The whole smile thing, the whole sad thing, this is all still an ongoing thing. Still there's mystery to it. So before I go into my theory as to what I think is going on here with the smile fruit and why it's connected to these people, tell me what you think about this. What did you think when you first read this?
So I was just, and considering I first read it like 5 minutes ago, I'm super confused about this entire situation.
What I'm thinking is going on here is that there's two things that could be happening. So first of all, I think like the factories that we see in Wano, they have something to do with the production of the fruits. Now I know that the sads come from Caesar and the smiles are produced by Doflamingo. But there's something else that's going on here that has to do with the smile, and it could be contaminating the water, and that the people in Ebisu Town who have, like, I guess a direct access to this supply have been infected by this, and one of the side effects causes them to just always smile and always be laughing and whatnot. And that's obviously what is giving Smile its name. Because I was always curious about that. I was like, why is this called Smile? Is it just because? Just because, that's some cool Japanese way of naming things? But no, apparently it's because it literally makes you smile. So that's one theory, is that it's like toxic runoff. So the second thing that I'm thinking is that they were all originally given like the first generation of the Smile fruits because they were like test subjects or something. And we all know that they're starving, so they'll pretty much eat anything. So I don't know, Kaido or Orochi, somebody gave all these people in Ebisu Town like the first wave of the Smile fruits, and then they ate them, but then they didn't gain Zoan powers. They just had the side effects of the smiling happening. So I think it's one of the two here.
I could see both, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's like, damn, it's both.
Well, there's prototypes. I mean, look at Momonosuke.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's like they couldn't reproduce the fruit until later on, in which even then it's not even the same. So.
But what did you think, Kishin, when you first read the
first,
last
it
panel?
didn't. I was thinking runoff because like we keep seeing the factories and like the smoke, and you've heard of acid rain and everything. Like it might be in their fucking skin from just being out in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a constant exposure to the runoff, because one of the things we saw when Zoro entered Ebisu Town was when they offered him water, he looked at it for like a solid second. He looked at the well where it came from, and he considered heavily whether he should drink the water or not. And then he proceeds to drink the water because he's just like, yeah, these guys are harmless. But I think there was more to it than just like him looking at a well randomly. I think he had kind of like a feeling like this water's not quite right.
Yeah, I mean, there's always like they keep coming back to that. Like they keep referencing the water. Like pretty much since the arc has started, they keep talking
Maybe
about how
you
like
can
the
actually
water.
smell it.
Yeah, that too. So.
Like if you're around it enough, and because it's their only source of water, they probably don't notice it or don't care. But to an outsider, that's going to be a lot more prevalent. It's like, I'm not drinking whatever the hell you're giving me. That's some bad stink on that stuff, huh?
But
yeah. So
I don't know.
Just quickly, what is the process behind devil fruit or artificial devil fruit creation against the smiles? What was sad? Was it like some sort of chemical they used to then?
Let me double check.
Yeah, I remember SAD was like the gas stuff that Caesar produced in Punk Hazard. And then...
Let's see, key ingredient is the sad. He can only make it...
And they use that on like just random fruit. Like with the Tontata, they just use it amongst random fruit and should convert it to a smile, right?
They might mix it with water when they're watering the plants.
Yeah.
Because the wiki only states it as like it's then transferred over to the Smile Factory on Dressrosa and then processed into the Smile. There's really no information.
So I always just assumed that the sad is like the main ingredient. Like this is essentially like the devil fruit magic, the synthetic form of it. But then it needs a vessel for it to be in, and the vessel is the smile, which is like the artificial fruit that contains the sad. Now, I could be wrong about this. I just assume that's how it worked. Like one can't exist without the other.
Yeah, I mean, like, because we see when that, when that giant axolotl that we saw at Punk Hazard.
Yeah, I forget his name. I think his name was Smile too, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was basically the giant, weird, lizardy axolotl-looking thing. When that kind of died and all the sad gas was passing through Punk Hazard, we see one of the fruits like near this. I think they abandoned like this little transport vehicle or
Yeah,
something
I
like
know
that.
exactly what
Wait,
you're talking
actually,
about.
no, wait. It ate a real fruit. It ate the axolotl fruit. It wasn't originally a creature at all. It gained sentience from the fruit.
Yeah,
What, the
yeah,
giant
that's what it
axolotl?
was. That's what it was. So it was actually the sad itself that ate the
Yeah.
fruit, and then it
Like he
became that
condensed
thing.
it or something, and then it's like, I want this to have a face. I want a friend.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got this devil fruit. Slap it in there. I don't know how you're going to eat it. I guess maybe it just dissolved it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it looked like in the goopy dissolve.
But so you're saying that fruit that we saw converted by the sad was then consumed by the gas, and it became the axolotl.
I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. Could be wrong.
Okay, no, because I can't remember, so I'm just going by what you guys are
No,
saying.
but I do remember that the exact scene that you're talking about when we randomly see that fruit and it becomes, it like changes, and I was always like, "What the hell's going on there?" But then I remember reading up that the axolotl thing is a result of the fruit. So I guess that was the moment when it ate it.
Yeah, because either way, we see that direct exposure of sad to a fruit of some kind seems to convert it directly into a smile. And the part I'm interested in is Hiyori says specifically that these fruits stole or wait, actually, let me just read what the part is.
Yeah, I'm looking
They
at
have been
she-
robbed of
yeah.
their ability to do anything but smile.
Yeah. So, and what I'm intrigued by is we have the kind of chemical which is sad, and then the fruit which is smile, and it has this kind of like inverse property, especially in the naming. So I want to know if there's like anything beyond that. Is it just like random naming like sad and smile, or is there some element of like what it actually does to people in terms of that inverse quality, and the reason behind the name?
Yeah.
Well, kind of a weird theory, and it probably doesn't make a lot of sense or whatever, but like because the smiles have only been zone users, so animals, things that could technically smile, maybe.
Maybe.
And hey, the will of D, every person that has the will of D that dies in the series, they die with a smile on their face. So maybe that's what the animals were doing when they mixed it into the damn fruit. Maybe they're just melting down animals. God damn, I just want to know where the animal portion comes from this shit.
Yeah, that's a good question too. I always wondered, like, why the hell does it have to be Zoan? Like, I thought
'Cause if
maybe
I'm
that
go-
was just what they discovered, and that's the only thing that they can tap into. I don't know. It's just not explained.
Yeah, like I'd throw some earth in there, maybe get like the earth, like earth manipulation
Yeah, like
or
fucking make
something.
Logias. Just have like everyone
Yeah.
having Logias. Everyone's god.
Imagine that crew full of Logias. You'd be like, damn.
Yeah, he'd be unstoppable. Oh my god.
But maybe that's what Oda was going with. He was like, okay, animals seems not too overpowered.
That's what I
especially
thought.
given what he did to them.
Exactly. That's what I assumed. Like, okay, Zoan seems to be like the least broken of the fruits, more or
So
less.
you get mythical or
Yeah, exactly. Aside from the mythicals and the ancients and the whatever the one that Sengoku has, human
The
Buddha model.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So just to kind of reiterate what I'm thinking. So sad is shipped over to Wano, and I think this is just like putting it out there. I think it's named sad because it might have some sort of like when that's utilized and it runs off into the water as it's creating smile fruits. It has the property of removing all the kind of sad, negative emotions from people, causing them to smile.
Oh,
yeah, I always wondered why it was called sad. That could work.
Wow.
It'd be weird why they would call it that.
I mean, now it totally makes sense because I thought maybe SMILE was like an acronym for something, but now that it pretty much literally means like smiling, I guess sad means it makes us sad or has something to do with sadness, and it totally makes sense what you're saying. It just robs you of your sadness. It makes you like this weird smiling person. But yeah.
Hey, now we know why why Doflamingo was called Joker, because he's got literal Joker gas, more or less.
Maybe he was infected by that shit too, because he was always smiling.
Yeah. Even when he's in Impel Down,
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
the Throne Wars are coming, bitches.